Well, hello there! It's that time again. Time for the blog that truly blazes. Here on this beautiful day of October the 3rd. Wow, October already. 2014. Here at my home, away from home, Modern Zen. And as usual, I'm going to go over the energies of the end of last week's reading, what we're coming into now, and of course always most interesting to your inquiring mind, what lies ahead at the end of this week. So do stay tuned. Indeed, an interesting ride ahead. Okay, well, the first card is the last card of the previous week's reading, and this card was the Five of Cups. Entitled Disappointment, Mars and Scorpio. Not exactly the happiest energy. But you know, honestly, I didn't find it bad at all. Of course, the day's not done yet. But really, honestly, I didn't have a bad time this week. I didn't find anything that really, I would have to say, disappointed me, caused me any major problems, any major upsets. If you did, I'm sorry to hear it, or sorry to know that that would happen to you. But if it happened, just keep it in perspective. Like I said in last week's blog, this card is depicted as a man standing in front of 3 cups knocked over on the ground. He's devastated over the loss, but behind him, there's still 2 cups of that delicious champagne awaiting him. But he's not seeing that. So it's a matter of focusing on what we have as opposed to what we do not have. Now, of course, we're also coming up now into Mercury retrograde. I believe that starts sometime tomorrow, and it's going to go to about the 25th. Now, you know, the more I study astrology, the more I realize it's not really that big of a deal. It really isn't. I mean, you don't want to sign contracts during Mercury retrograde. I don't think I'd make a huge major commitment like go buy an automobile or close on a house, for instance. But for anything else, you know, your life doesn't have to stop. You know, you want to buy a computer, some software. You know, a lot of people do that and have no problems during a retrograde. As a matter of fact, I know an astrologer that likes to do that. He'll get stuff during a retrograde because the help desk is not busy if he does need help, all right, because nobody else is doing it. And sometimes the prices are better, so who's to say? And anyways, this week is going to be mellow, as we're going to see in the cards coming up. That's right, the next card, the card of the present, where we're coming into now, is the Knight of Discs, or Pentacles. This is very grounded energy. It's very secure. It's kind of like plugging away. You know, it's just kind of like plodding away, doing what we need to do, putting one foot in front of the other, and just keep on going. So it's having that sense of security about us. It's having that sense of stability. And it's just focusing on chopping wood, carrying water, doing what we have to do on a day-to-day basis, you know, just to make things work. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good stabilizing influence, especially again because we do have a planet going retrograde. Having that stabilizing influence and just focusing on the here and now is always a good thing to do. Also, the retrogrades are good for catching up on stuff if you have unfinished projects, things you did not take care of. You know, this is a good time sometimes to clean up old business because a retrograde is going backwards. So going backwards in our lives and going back to things we did not fix before or complete before is always a good idea. But towards the end of the week, we're going to find our minds are starting to focus more towards the future than the past. That's right, the third and final card is the Six of Swords, entitled Science, Mercury and Aquarius. The mind being sharp, focused, looking towards the future, depicted in the Rider-Waite as a woman and child floating on a small boat away from one shore towards another, leaving one place to go to another, presumably a better place. The whole idea of science is applying the mind, our mental faculties, intelligently to a particular goal. So you might kind of take a break towards the beginning of this week in your thinking, and then as the week rolls on, you start to find your mental gears start to flow again, and you want to start focusing on things that you want to do. And again, as long as it's not major contract signing, you feel free to do them. I think they'll be very, very fruitful And I think it's going to be an interesting and, as I said, I think relatively calm and mellow week from what I can see. Well, there you go. The blog Blaze, you blazed with it. I appreciate you. I love your support. The blog loves your support. And until I see you next week, many, many blessings.